Good evening. Finally doing the live I've been talking about doing, I don't even know how long now. And what has gotten me finally motivated to do it is I received my Pine Tree Garden Seeds fall seed order. I didn't need to order a ton. I ended up ordering a lot of fall bulbs that have not been sent yet. They'll get sent later towards planting time, so you don't have to store them. But I'm going to open this with you guys right now and show you, talk about what else I'm going to be starting besides what I got in the seed order. And just a reminder, I am in the South and I live in North Carolina. And so what I might be doing for my winter garden may not be right for you if you're in a colder climate. And if that's the case, it might be really awesome if people would, in the comments, put some great accounts to follow that take measures to prolong their growing season in colder climates, that maybe do row covers or hoop houses or just grow super cold tolerant varieties. So drop any handles of people that you know up north. I know one is Forks in the Dirt. She's probably a great account to follow if you're in a colder climate. But if you are in a warm climate, you can probably garden some things year round. I can garden a ton of things. So unless we get a crazy polar vortex, everything in my garden survives without protection. I'm too lazy to do any type of protection in my garden. Also, one other housekeeping thing, if you have a burning question or comment, the best way for me to not miss it is if you put it in the question bubble that's at the bottom of your screen. With that, let's go ahead and open up my seed order. So my favorite place to get both vegetables and flowers and my garlic is Pine Tree Garden Seeds, because they have a great selection of all those things. So it's like a one-stop shop. I don't like having to order from a lot of different companies and pay a lot of different shipping charges. So Pine Tree is my favorite for that. If I'm looking for some more unique flower varieties, my next go-to is Swallowtail Garden Seeds. They're really just flowers, as far as I know. And then if I'm looking to do anything native and also figure out what is native to me, I like going to Prairie Moon Nursery. And I'll put all of those in the caption for anyone who rewatches this. Okay. Okay, I got more than I thought I did. I may need to replan my garden. Isn't it funny how you place a seed order? It's only been a week and I already can't remember what I got. So let me start with the different things I'm going to be growing. I'm going to be growing mustards, which if you're not familiar with mustards, it's not like what you make mustard that you spread on your sandwich out of. These are like garlicky greens that I love to saute. You can add them to salads. You can put them on sandwiches. So I'll be growing mustards, arugula, that is my favorite green by far with the peppery taste, a bunch of different lettuces, kale, spinach, collards, broccolis, Romanesco, Swiss chard, onions. I'll also be planting garlic. That won't be till November, so I'm not doing anything with that right now. Cilantro and dill. So cilantro and dill are like the two herbs that like colder weather as opposed to warmer weather. So I always do those in the fall. And I have already started Green Magic broccoli and Bright Lights Swiss chard. All right, so let's see what I just got today. So for lettuce, I ordered something called All Year Round because being in a warmer climate, I want to start trialing some lettuces that will not bolt so quickly as soon as that warm weather hits. So I got this all year round lettuce to grow both this fall and try and grow it again in the spring. Cimarron lettuce, this looks like a burgundy romaine. And then I also already have at home, let me find my, I thought I had a couple other lettuces at home, like, but I must have set them somewhere else, like tennis ball. I want to grow tennis ball again. I really like that one. All right. Okay, I grew these last year. These are Pompeii onions. They're a smaller onion and they have this really unique sweet flavor. And onion seeds typically only last a year. I always order new onion seeds every year, even if I don't use them all the first year. So Pompeii onions. Sahara Rudbeckia. I'm gonna talk a little bit about what cold hardy annual flowers I'm gonna be starting and which one I'm giving the boot to this year. I'm kind of sad, but I'm done with it. Wonder if you guys can guess which cold hardy flower will not be grown in my garden again next year. I am zone 8A. I did not already say. I'm zone 8A, but zone doesn't really matter for growing like vegetables. It matters more for perennials and cold hardy flowers. What matters for the vegetables is first and last frost date and how much time you have. And I mean, I guess it does matter how cold it gets for how long. Yeah, I guess zone does matter a little bit for the fall winter garden. 8A. No, Anna, no potatoes. Okay, collards. I'm growing the flash variety of collards. The one year that we did have that polar vortex and almost everything in my winter garden did get zapped, the collards were the only thing that survived. Red Russian kale. This is my absolute number one kale that I grow, both for how it looks and how it tastes. Kale Nero de Toscana. Red burgundy onion. I am in the South. I grow short day onions. That's what's appropriate for my climate and day length. So these are some short day onions. Gonna try eucalyptus again. And pink lipstick Swiss chard. I really like this one. It's the most vibrant pink I've ever seen in a plant. And peppermint Swiss chard. Doesn't taste like peppermint. It's just, it got this beautiful white and pink to it. All right, so that's what came in my order. But for my garden, when I look at it, the lettuces I'm growing, oh, that's right. Where did that go? All right, I'm growing Tegan lettuce from row 7 and then Cimarron, tennis ball, and all year round. I'm growing 3 different types of arugula, Astro, seeds I saved myself, and just a plain arugula variety. Mustards I'm growing are Red Giant, Mild Mix, Green Wave, and Kamatsuma. Kale, I'm doing Red Russian, the Nero de Toscana, and Feathered Frills. So I've grown this before, and it's just such a unique looking kale. I like growing things in the garden that look unique. I don't want like a boring, monotonous garden. And in the fall winter garden can be a little color lacking, which is why I like to do so many of the bright colors of Swiss chard. And I like to do things that look unusual. The giant red mustard is this purpley burgundy pop of color in the garden. Seaside spinach, flash collards, we talked about that. All right, broccoli, I'm doing Green Magic, Early Jade, and Broccoli Rob, spring rapini. And then Romanesco, and then I already listed all the Swiss chard, Bright Lights, Pink Lipstick, Peppermint. And then I'll plant my garlic in November. Okay, let's talk flowers. I mentioned the Rudbeckia. Those are cold hardy. So when I talk about cold hardy flowers, these are ones I can start now. I'm starting them on my deck in a covered, protected area that gets filtered, filtered light, not direct sunlight. So I'm not having to start them indoors and deal with all that, but I'm also not direct sowing them because I have such an issue with birds taking the seed. I also have an issue with when the seedlings are super tiny, then they just get mowed down by roly-polies, pill bugs, and slugs. So I start them, I transplant them in late fall. Where I live in zone 8A, they can survive all winter with no protection at all. That's the only way I'll grow them. If they need protection, they don't make the cut. So what I'm growing are foxglove, snapdragons, calendula, rudbeckia, pansies, bells of Ireland, and poppies. The poppies are the only one I do direct sow, and I just scatter seeds on the ground, and I just scatter so many that even if the birds eat a ton, I'll still have some. The one I'm not gonna grow this year, I'm done with sweet peas. I typically start sweet peas in December and plant them out in January. And while that has worked well, it gets so hot so fast here that the sweet peas, they barely flower. I mean, they're worthless, they take up space. It's too hot here. And I'm realizing, especially since we went from zone 7B to 8A, that it's going to get too hot for a lot of things here. Like I'm worried about not being able to grow peonies after a while because they don't get enough chilling hours. They don't get enough cold. So we'll see about that. So now I've told you what I'm growing, and let me show you how I'm doing it. I am starting all of my seeds except for the poppies. I'm calling it indoors. It's not indoors, but it is in like a protected area. So one thing I'm doing is for the flowers that I want a ton of, I am starting them in, so I'm going to do everything in soil blocks this season. And these are purple cone flowers. They have already sprouted. These are in the Nano 25 soil block. And they've been outside, protected from the rain, protected from the direct sun, protected from the wind, on my porch with a humidity dome. And they were started on July 30th. So these were started on July 30th. They've already sprouted. They're doing great. Enough of them have sprouted that I think the humidity dome may come off tomorrow, and I'll just try and keep the ones that haven't sprouted wet enough that they don't dry out and they still sprout. Might give it another day or two. I think I swallowed a fungus gnat. Okay. It's just water tonight. Don't get excited. Okay. Another thing I'm doing is I'm starting a bunch of seeds for the pocket prairie of perennials and it's called a prairie mix. And when I have a seed mix, I typically will start it in a repurposed food container like this. And then I will go to the effort to pick out the plants and put them into soil blocks. So I make the soil blocks, and before I press the soil blocks out, these are made with the Nano 9. I make holes in each soil block so that I can easily thread the plant's roots directly into the soil block. So these came from here, and now they've got their own soil block. And so they don't have a humidity dome because they've already sprouted. They don't need a humidity dome, but they're living outside in the protected area. Now this is a repurposed food container. It's just upside down. These were like those non-dippers from Costco you can get. This was broccoli, started on August 4th. And so I just put the soil blocks, I pressed them out onto the lid. So here's the soil, this is the Nano 9. So I pressed the soil blocks out onto the lid and then use the bottom of the container as the humidity dome until I don't need the humidity dome anymore. This was the broccoli from Pine Tree Garden Seeds, Green Magic, started on August 4th. What is today? Is today the 6th? Today's the 6th. Look at that. I have such good germination with Pine Tree Garden Seeds. I've just always had the best luck with that. And soil blocks have just been, once you learn what mix works for you, which it doesn't have to be complicated. I'm going to show you what I'm using in just a second. Soil blocking is so easy. It's really, I think, the watering that people get hung up on, like how do you water it? How much do you water it? All right, so this lid will probably come off at some point tomorrow also. All right, so I thought what I would do is start some soil blocks on camera. Let's see if we can do that. All right, I'm a little limited with my camera angle with my holder. All right, what are we gonna start? So we've already started broccoli, we've started some Swiss chard. Let's do the collards. Move all my seeds. All right, So what I have here is a cement mixing tub from Lowe's. This is the small size. And I use Fox Farms Coco Loco potting mix. I use it because I'm peat free and it's peat free. It has a lot of nutrition in it and it's got coco coir, but the coco coir has been triple washed, so you don't have to worry about that salinity issue that coco coir is known for. And so all I did was I sifted the Coco Loco. I could use it just the way it is, but I have some green sand left over from when I was trialing out the green sand, which is comes from the ocean. It's got a lot of minerals in it and it works as a binding agent, but I don't think you have to have it. And a lot of water. And you add enough water so that when you squeeze the soil mixture, water drips out of it. You want mashed potato consistency. And then I have my Swift Blocker. This is the Nano 9. This is one of the 3 Swift Blockers they made in the Nano series for the home gardener. Do I have the other ones? Yes, I do. Okay. So for the home gardener, they have the 27, the mini 27. I use this a lot. And then the nanos, they've got the Nano 25, makes 25 blocks. They've got the Nano 9, and they've got the Nano 4. This is fun for like squash, beans, big seeds. I love it. And it's great for propagating and for potting up. So I'm going to fill the blocker with my hands, and I'm not pushing the soil mixture down as hard as I can, but I am making sure that as hard as I push it in one block, I'm pushing it with the same level of force in all of them. And I'm going to pay attention to the corners just to make sure that they're filled. You guys can see. I'm just going to take my hands, I'm just going to press the soil and smear it all around. Make sure that all the blocks are filled. A little bit more. Once I feel like I've done a good job, like this, you can purchase one of their scrapers, which is really nice for like the bigger Swift Blockers. But it works also for the nanos. Okay, just gonna clean up. Oh, I got soil all around the edges. Just get that out of there. Okay, now what's so awesome about the Swift Blocker is that you can seed the soil blocks before pressing them out. Take my seeds. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do first? So it's got these divots built in. I'm gonna just push it down a little bit. Create a little depression on each block. And then, now there's several reasons that people prefer using soil blocks over seed trays. And one of them is because of the reduced use of plastic. Another one is that you don't have to clean a bunch of plastic trays when you're done. Another one is you get air pruning of the roots, which is awesome. It just means as the roots grow towards the edges of the blocks, they reach the air, which causes the roots to branch out and become more robust, and for the plant to send out additional roots. So it creates an extremely healthy root system. I am sprinkling the top with very fine vermiculite. This helps retain moisture in the top of the block while the seed's waiting to germinate. Okay. Are you ready? Boom, done. Like that, 9 soil blocks, just that fast. And what's also amazing is the ergonomics. I had a hard time using the old-fashioned soil blockers, and these are so easy on my carpal tunnel and my arthritis. Okay, so then I've got my humidity done. And we're gonna label. All right, these were flash collards. Started on 8/6. I mean, technically 8/7 because it's so late at night. Actually, you know what? I want to do one more thing. So until my seeds germinate, I typically spray the tops with water. Once the seeds germinate, then I start bottom watering, which I'll show you. Okay. So for something like this, right, that's already sprouted, I feel like the comments are hiding everything. It's good to use a gooseneck watering can because it lets you control the flow of the water. And you just water around the blocks, and then you kind of just observe how quickly they take up the water. If they soak it all up super fast and it's all gone, then they probably need a little bit more. If, however, you come back in an hour and not all the water is gone, then you can just, oh, they're drinking all the water. I'm trying to show you. Give it some extra. Okay, say they don't drink all their water, then you can just take the tray and you can pour off the extra water. Boom. But they were a little thirsty. Okay. Let's see if we have any questions. All right, there's nothing in the question bubble. You guys must be good. You got no questions. All right. Well, then that was easy. Let's just check. Hey, Dawn. I'll check and say hi to people. But that's really kind of it. I will put this up in case you missed part of it and want to rewatch it. I'll also put all the info in the caption. I'll put the 3 seed companies I talked about. I'll put a discount code for Pine Tree. Got a new one, even if you've used my other one. I'll talk about the vermiculite in the caption. I'll talk about just all the equipment, the Swift blockers, so you can go back and check it there. And if anyone sends me info on great northern, like cold climate gardeners to follow, I will put that in the caption as well. Okay, I guess someone was answering what I'm doing because someone must have asked. There is a title up at the top. I do make sure to put a title for the live. I don't know if it's visible to everybody. Elizabeth Kathleen, living vicariously through your August seed starting. I don't have enough growing days left to start anything else this year. I'm sorry to hear that. I am very, very fortunate to be able to grow year round. I have 12 weeks until my first frost. And it is important, even if you live in a warmer climate, to get seeds started at a certain point. I'm not saying now is like drop dead date. It's probably early for some, but you do want your seedlings to get a certain amount of daylight hours before we go into the super cold weather, and they kind of don't grow as much during the super cold weather because the days are getting shorter as we move towards winter. And I know it's hard. Like in August, you're exhausted from your spring, summer garden. And it's really hard to think about starting more seed babies that need a lot of attention and taking care of. But I promise you, come like December, January, February, when everything is so bleak, like having the fall, winter garden, it's pretty amazing and it's worth it. Okay, I think I've gone through all the comments. I'm not seeing... All right. I think that's it. Also, let me talk one more thing. Okay, once my seedlings are a decent size, they're probably at least 2 weeks old, that is when I'll start fertilizing. So if what I'm using for the seed starting has a lot of nutrition in it, I am not adding any extra fertilizer. I'm not adding any worm castings. I'm not adding any compost because This brand of potting mix already has worm castings, bat guano, dolomite lime, crushed oyster shells, and something else I can't even remember. Like, that's a lot of nutrition. You can over fertilize seedlings. So make sure to read your seed starting mix. Some of them have fertilizer in it, but some of them also don't. And then maybe you do want to add some fertilizer, like, so like you're not gonna add a liquid fertilizer usually to your seed starting mix, but you could add a granular one. I recommend insect frass, which is the poop from black soldier flies. So it's kind of like a closed loop system. You know, these insect farms that are producing insects as an option for livestock feed, they're using the excrement, which is wonderful for your plants, as fertilizer. So it's kind of closed loop system, which is more sustainable than, you know, producing synthetic fertilizer. But I digress. Anyway, you could add something like insect frass with a low NPK to a seed starting mix. I think it's Jiffy seed starting mix. I looked at it at the store and it says something like retains nutrition, but when you read the ingredients, it has no nutrition in it. So what it's saying is, like, if you were to add nutrition, the materials in it would retain it, but it's literally like peat moss and cocoa coir. I don't know. It's just, there's no nutrition in it. So you would want to add something. But come the 2-week mark, I will be fertilizing my seedlings. And what I'll do is, you can make an insect frass tea. I'll mix this insect frass, which does not smell bad, actually smells like brownie mix. I will mix it with water. You can't do that with fish fertilizer. I'll mix it with water, and then I will bottom water my soil blocks with that low NPK plant food. Okay, I think that's it. I think I touched on just like all the basics with what I'm doing right now. And if I didn't, you can send me a DM. I will also post a reel showing what my setup looks like on the deck for seed starting, because I am not pulling out my giant seed starting rack with all the lights and the timers and the heat mats. You don't need it this time of year. It's already warm outside. There's plenty of daylight outside. So you can do it outside. You just got to be careful where you do it. Okay, with that, I will see you guys next time. You are welcome, Carmen M. Ross. Thanks for being here.